Humanitarians Live that we do with Vicky. Vicky unfortunately can't make it. So that's why I'm doing this on my own. And today, the topic that I coach a lot on humanitarians, and the topic is networking. And somehow, many of us humanitarians have a lot of judgment around networking or about people who do network, or generally, like we have this belief that networking is bad, but we have to do it. This is the, if I were to summarize all of the varieties of questions that I receive, this would be the summary of what we have the attitude about networking. And yet we also feel like we have to do it, and we're missing out on if we don't, and we're missing out on the job opportunities, right? So therefore, today, I want to talk about what happens if we keep thinking these ways, and I will give you specific examples of thoughts that many of my clients have presented them to me. What happens when we continue feeling or thinking that, and then what emotions we generate from that, and then how do we actually show up in the networking opportunity in case. And if that's not how we're wanting to do this, then let's figure out how else do we want to use networking opportunity if we want to, right? So this is the thing. My goal is, by the end of today, my goal is to help you understand how you're being victim of your own judgments around networking. And I suggest not to do that highly, simply because that has no use for yourself. It has no use for the other person who's agreeing to network with you. And it will be just an awful experience that you don't like in the end. And that's why we need to clean up our thoughts and judgments around networking if we want to use this tool going forward. Okay. So first things first is that when my clients come to me and say that, well, I'm transitioning to this position, higher position, right? I'm transitioning to a private sector, or I'm transitioning to a development, or I'm transitioning to back home, whatever it is that they present to me, then they say, I know that I should be doing networking, but I don't, right? So this is like the first thing that we create a lot of resistance around networking. And of course, me including. So don't get me wrong, I have a lot of judgments about it too, and I am in the midst of clearing them up. So I'm with you on this. So that's one of the major resistance that they present. Another one they present is, I am doing it even though I don't want to, right? So there is this feeling of, um, I have to, but I am. I can't really do any other way. I'm so sorry. I have a family emergency, it seems like. I need to take this. Hold on. I am very sorry. One. Okay. I'm so sorry because my niece is starting her studies in Germany, and it's getting crazy out here in terms of helping her with all of these things. So anyway, so coming back to another thought that my clients present is the thought of, I'm asking for a favor and I'm not really giving anything back in return. This is what, that's why it feels icky. It feels not right to do this, right? This is another objections or another resistance that we create. Another one that they tell me is that I have always done it out of merit, and if I now start networking, it will not be by merit, meaning that now I will get a job because I knew someone, and therefore I will not feel comfortable, right? And when we have these type of thoughts around networking, obviously then going to a networking event or going to network with someone will feel very awkward, will feel like needy, maybe we'll feel we're doing something wrong and we don't want to do it, right? So therefore it will not be a pleasant experience for ourselves. It will be very uncomfortable experience for ourselves. It will feel like artificial, right? Or it will feel like as if we're asking for as if we're asking for like something that we shouldn't be asking, or we're doing something illegal. This is how it would feel like. And when we are feeling that way, obviously we're not going to do a good job of conversing with the other human, right? We're not going to really present our powerful sides. We're not going to uh, like convey the message of what we want to convey, and therefore all of the other person's experience of us will also feel like, well, you are here because you're needing something from me, and the other person will probably also have that a bit of an uncomfortable icky feeling, right? So you're here just to ask for something, and I don't like that experience, right? So as humans, I believe that we don't really function well when we are in needy state, as well as the other person who's on the receiving end. They don't really feel comfortable being on the receiving end either, right? So that's why when we are acting and networking from these thoughts, we're not going to do a good job. We're not going to get the results we want, or we're not going to get excuse me, the outcome we want, right? We will just be there, not liking it. We'll be just be there doing it for the sake of doing it because we just heard from other people that we should do it. And therefore, our experience will be awful. And then the next time, we're not going to want to do that at all. And that's very human, and that's very understandable considering how we're thinking about networking, right? How we're thinking about what networking is and what it isn't. Therefore, I would like to propose to you how you can start looking at networking from the place that feels good, or from the place that feels true or genuine to you, not from the place of needy, or from the place of resistance, from the place of I'm asking for a favor, not from that place, but how would you like to feel in that networking with someone? And most importantly, why would you do that, right? Why do you want to do the networking with that person? So the the feelings that I want to have as I network with other people is I want to be very genuine. I want to be very authentic. I want to be very honest with myself and with the other person. And I don't want to have any hidden agendas, right? I don't want to feel like I am there to be asking favors, or I don't want to feel like I'm there to give me more favors than others, or like give me a favor in general, because I want to be selected. I want to be hired by my merit, obviously, right? I don't want to be hired because someone happens to know me and therefore, or even if I'm not qualified for that job, or even if I have no profile of that job, but they just hired me because they knew me from somewhere, or they wanted to help me, and then now I'm in that job and everyone is looking at me like, well, the boss's favorite person or whatever, right? So that all feels very icky, and I don't like that, and I think no one likes that either. So that's why when I am going to the networking event, or when I'm networking with someone, I want to feel very genuine and authentic, and also I want to genuinely connect with another human who has the job that I'm interested in, or who has the profile, or who has the expertise in the job that I'm interested. And I would love to get their advice. I would love to get their anything that I'm not maybe doing in my application process that I could be doing, that I could be working on. I would love to get their eyes on it, right? If they can give me other connections, or if they can give me even further like specific things that I can do additionally, I'm happy to do that. But the main goal that I would pursue in connecting with others, networking with others, would be that they have the expertise that I don't, the job that I'm going to go for that they have and I don't have it, like the insights, the which ways that I'm approaching it, which ways I could be approaching it, they have it and I don't. And I would genuinely want to be interested in that expertise, in that advice, in that in their experience of how I could do things differently. Right. So when I approach it that way, genuinely, honestly, and saying this is, even I would say that I'm looking for this job with this type of profile, and I would love to get your insight on whether the way that I'm approaching it is really right, or maybe there are things that I could be doing and I'm not doing it. Is there anything that you could advise me? So this is how I would approach it, and this is also how I have approached it in the past. Now, the the way that we continue like judging this networking event or networking with someone, if we keep judging ourselves, judging them on how networking is bad, how this is a favoritism, how this is that, then we're not gonna, as I said, we're not gonna show up as who we are and as we want to be. But also, I think the other part that we're not really considering, which is we're not really assuming the best in other people, right? We're not really trusting the other people, because if we're saying that they will just like, if we believe that they're just going to hire us because they will now know us, or they will just give us the favor and they won't give to others the favor, then obviously we are undermining their um, or questioning their professionalism, right? We're questioning their work ethic. We're questioning how they're showing up, and or how they are making decisions and how they're doing it in panels with other people. So we are basically not trusting their capacity of how they perform their job. And that's obviously not a good place to be approaching someone from, right? So imagine if we didn't like someone, or imagine if we had a lot of judgments about someone and then we went there to network. Obviously, it will not feel good either way, right? Because we humans have this feeling of we can sense when the other person is coming with a lot of judgment, and then um, they had a lot of judgment, and then they came to us and to meet us, and then all of a sudden they are smiling and they are trying to be nice. We can sense that this energy of pretentiousness is just toxic. And we all know this, right? It's not something that I'm saying that's a news. We all know this, and evolutionary, we are so attuned to sense when someone is very pretentious. We are so attuned to understand or know something is not right when the other person is behaving this way, right? So therefore, if you are someone who is networking with others or wanting to network, don't um, judge other people and their capacity and their professionalism. Don't even go there and try like do that, because that will just spoil everything of your own experience. And we don't know how others function and how they do their job. And just because we network does not mean that they're just going to give us the job either. There's usually, in most of the organizations, there's a selection process that they all go through. Of course, we can always argue that someone got the job for someone. That will always be happening, right? But if we want to be honest with ourselves, and if we want to, excuse me, if we want to do this well the way that we want to, then let's clear up these judgmental thoughts about networking, and then decide for ourselves how we want to, excuse me, how we want to network with other people, what kind of feelings we want to have, how do we want to think about this process, why, most importantly, why do we want to network, right? What will be the purpose of networking, and then what do we want to get out of it? So I always think that the best networking is when we do our job so amazingly that other people start giving us offers to, why don't you work here, why don't you work there. This is the one of the best ways I believe we can network, is where we do our job so well that people start telling other people about our work and about our impact, and then we are so in demand. This would be the number one place where I would like put my effort into networking, so to say, by genuinely wanting to make the impact I want and genuinely going for what I really want, and then other people coming and giving offers as to why don't you work with me. That would be the first and most where I would put my energy. The next is if I was doing the networking now for getting a job, the way that I would think about networking is that this is not about me, but rather I really want to contribute in the world, in that workspace. I want to contribute with my knowledge. I want to grow. I want to work specifically in that area that I'm interested in. Therefore, I'm willing to connect to as many professionals as possible, to consult with them, to get their advice, and keep improving until I get the job. Right. So that would be my way of thinking about it instead of oh my God, they're gonna hate me. I don't like myself either. I'm asking for a favor. This means I'm not meriting and I'm just going the shortcuts, which are not true, but we just continue believing in that story and therefore we don't really go for what we want to, right? And the second, like the way I would think, as I said, is it's not about me. It's about the impact that I want to make, impact I want to make with these people in this area, and therefore I'm so wanting to share what I know and what I can, so that maybe if there are opportunities, I'm notified or people can let me know. That would be the second way. And the third way is that I would always connect to other humans because I believe that other humans want to help other humans, especially in the humanitarian space. I believe that there are so many people who are amazing and they want to help others, especially who are very experienced and they know what how hard it is. They know how important to support each other, and therefore they're willing to do this work and like willing to help. And I have been blessed with so many amazing humanitarians who have helped me in my careers beyond my wildest dreams. And therefore I always trust and I believe that there are so many people who are wanting to help me out there, and all I need to do is get in touch with them. And then I believe that they are willing to help, and that's how always my experience has been. Therefore, I always want to believe that if we're in the humanitarian space, but even if not humanitarian space, there are always amazing people who are wanting to help. And therefore, my job is to reach out or to let them know that this is where my path is leading me. And therefore, if there is any way that they can assist, I'm happy to receive it. And then the next time when, even though maybe I'm not able to return their like good support to me, if I can't return to them, I'm wanting to do that to other people in the future, right? I really believe in this concept of even if we may not be like able to return the help that we have received, we are able to give them to other people as they come along. And that's really how I would love to suggest for you to think about networking instead of all of these judgments that you just keep piling up and not going anywhere, right? So therefore, I really hope that this was helpful for you to think about in terms of how our judgments can affect the way we show up, and that showing up is not useful for any of us, not us, but other people. And we can also decide how we want to connect and how we want to network, what feelings we want to be driven by to do this work, and then what are the ways we can think about connecting to others, why we would do it, and then going to do this work so that we can create the impact we want, we can grow, we can then continue the torch of assisting others in the future, even if we're not able to say as much thank you to the people who have supported us. So, my dears, if you need help with this, absolutely let me know. I would love to help you clear up the judgments and also get you networking in the way that you really feel good doing it. And until then, have a beautiful week. Thank you so much and see you very soon.